Welcome to the Alkalign Lifestyle School. I'm Fidel Snook II, and I'll be guiding you today. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about caffeine. Yep, you already knew it's coming. All right, we're going to be talking about the ill effects that caffeine put on your body. And I'm going to be giving you guys, not only from an athlete's perspective, from a business, entrepreneur, CEO perspective, just from personal experience and just seeing other people and how deteriorating this thing does. I'm going to show you guys how to free yourself from it, because you have to. If you don't free yourself from it, you're going to be addicted. So, all right. Let's begin the process by talking about dehydration first, all right? So first off, we're gonna speak on why you're dehydrated in the first place. And let me really get you to understand the clock, how the clock works. So at the Alkalign Lifestyle School, we focus on the Chinese body clock, an Eastern way of thinking how your organs work, how your body works, how the circadian rhythms work, how you can eat in alignment and be in tune with nature from the inside out. We focus on that because what most people don't tell you is that your inner world is directly connected to your outer world. And if you don't focus on the inner world first, yes, the inner world is more important than your outer world. It's not reactionary thinking, it's creative thinking. Therefore, if I'm looking at what is the medium between how I connect from myself to this entire universe, to anyone around me. What is it? How do I communicate? What do I need to use? What's the telephone to the universe? And that's water. Water is telephone to the universe. If you ever walked around and seen something floating in the air, right? And I say floating in the air because you'll say the leaves are blowing in the wind, but it's not blowing in the wind, it's blowing in the water, meaning it's floating in the water. So if you realize that water, that medium that connects you to everything around you is coming from within you to without you. If you poison that water, all of a sudden, the outer world becomes poisonous to you. And you become in some stressed out, depressed, it's almost like a chaotic state. And you don't know why you caused that. But I'm expressing to you just why. Starbucks is the killer, all right? Coffee bean and tea is the killer. And this is why. Because when you take in, we're gonna talk solely about three things here. We're gonna talk about mood, we're gonna talk about energy, and we're gonna talk about obesity. There we go. So three things that we're gonna touch on. First thing we're gonna touch on is gonna be mood. So, what does caffeine do to people when they first wake up in the morning? To understand this, you have to understand that from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., you have a release in your gallbladder. That's overnight. Your gallbladder releases stomach bile that's helping you to digest your food, to detoxify yourself overnight. From 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is your liver. That's gonna also help you to detoxify, cleanse your mind and your brain, because these things are starting to clean up what you've been putting in throughout the entire day. After that, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is your lungs. Your lungs now have to get detoxified. You have a natural process that's occurring overnight. So your lungs are now clearing out whatever it was, whether it be mucus, whether it be excess fluid, it's being cleared out at that moment in time. Then, when you get up from 5 to 7 a.m., your large intestine is now working to release your bowels. Now you're gonna take the waste products that you've basically gone to convert from, whatever you put into energy, now to waste, you're releasing that in the morning time. And then from 7 to 9 a.m., it's your stomach. Now let me express that the worst thing that you can do is wake up in the morning and run to the coffee machine or to the coffee maker and make a cup of coffee. Because instantly, you've now, instead of cleansed the bowels and gotten whatever you've taken in out, you decided that you're gonna go to put in some false energy inside of your body. Now, this is the case whenever people wake up and they say, okay, I gotta get some tea, like some green tea, or like some matcha tea even, or coffee, or some people even drink soda, which is crazy, or 5-hour energies. They have so many different things to say you need to get this pick-me-up for your day that you don't understand just how much it's going to wreck your entire central nervous system, and how whenever you place these things inside your body, you're putting in so many large quantities of it that you don't even know how long it takes for it to get out. So this is a book. Everybody should have this book. This is probably the best healing book I've ever read. It's called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. It's by Dr. Batman Galdi. They call him Dr. Batman. And this was written back in the late 80s, early 90s. He did all these studies, about 3,000 studies, where he just helps people heal their autoimmune disease by giving them water. But what he speaks about in this, he talks about in one particular chapter, he talks about coffee. He says, what happens if you drink tea, coffee, or cola in place of water? Now, when you go to somebody, you ask them, did you hydrate yourself today? Sometimes they make a mistake and they think that because they drink orange juice, or because they drink apple juice, or because they drink some coffee, or some tea, or some soda, that they got water inside their body, but that's not true. See, as you age, as you get up in age, you also get dehydrated because of dilution. The issue is that the most important thing in your body is it's gonna be what's called, you have a principle of a solute and a solvent. And so the principle of the solute and the solvent becomes readily, I'll say it becomes known as you get up in age. And the reason is because as you get up in age, you literally start to lose your entire hydration. So there's stages of this loss. There's stages of this loss where you begin to lose your hydration. And so, first off, he talks about your body water and your age. And this is how this map that he drew, I'm gonna draw this map for you all so that you can see this map yourself. So here's gonna be the map. So right here, you'll see. This is basically like a chart. So I'll just draw a simple little line like this, all right? Let me make it a little straighter. That's a little jag on that edge. All right, so right here, let's do this. So this one. He says that you start off and you're up here. He says that I'll put ages, so I'll do it by 20 years, separated by 20 years. So here's 20, here's 40, 60 years of age, 80 years of age. What he says is that you have this heightened level of hydration at age 20, and all of a sudden it starts to go all the way down. And as you get to age 80, where you were at age 20 is no longer there no more. So now you're literally here. You're at this gap right here. This is the gap that you're now at age 80. So you started off here. Now you're down here. And he says it's the influence of lifestyle. There you go. The influence of your lifestyle. Tea, coffee, and alcohol. That's the influence of your lifestyle. And what happens to a person is they literally, as they get older, they drink themselves to death. It doesn't necessarily mean alcohol. No. What it actually means is that the water, which is the solvent of the body, has now been diluted too much by the solute, which is whatever you've been putting inside your body. So let's fast forward to caffeine and what the effects of caffeine are on your body. Now, this is a big thing for people to understand about caffeine. So 1 cup of coffee, so let me break this down. 1 cup of coffee, and this is a study done in about 1990, so this is obviously probably changed. 1 cup of coffee has about 85 milligrams of caffeine. All right, 1 cup of tea, 1 cup of tea is about 50 milligrams of caffeine. Same thing with also soda. So 1 cup of tea, 1 cup of soda, 50 milligrams of caffeine. So basically, what you're gonna know is that you have caffeine that's supposed to act in an energy releasing capacity to help you to get picked up. But when you wake up in the morning at 6 a.m., this is what you should be doing when you wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever time you wake up in the morning. You should probably get up and drink a warm glass of water, preferably ionized water, electrolyzed water, something to basically charge yourself up, not drink caffeine. And the reason why is because when the caffeine goes into your system, it alters your CNS, central nervous system. I used to go to GNC all the time, at least once a month, and I would get a protein shake that included caffeine inside of it because I felt like I had to be racing. I had to get myself up and I had to get myself in order to be able to sustain my training for the day or whatever I had to go do, all right? And I didn't realize that I could not turn myself off at nighttime. So what happened throughout the entire day was because I had that 1 cup or, my little shaker bottle with the caffeine inside of it, it altered my mood throughout the entire day. What am I talking about? Soon as I got up, I felt like I was in a fight or flight mode the entire time because I felt like I was reaching for something that I did not have. And if I did not have this cup of coffee, you see many signs when you get up and it says, but first, coffee. Don't talk to me until I have my coffee. Don't come to me, don't socialize with me until I have my coffee. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. You don't need to have that to be able to pick you up so you can be a normal human being. But people think that they need that in order to be a normal human being. What happens to your mood is throughout the entire day, you start to experience this drop. You start to just drop. If you started off here, you start to drop all the way down until you get down to here. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you're done. You're already done. And you don't understand that this has a diuretic effect because caffeine also is a diuretic. So what's happening to your kidneys throughout the afternoon, because in the Chinese body clock, what time is the kidneys? The kidneys is 3 to 5 p.m. is going to be the kidneys, are in the bladder. And then right after that, 5 to 7, I believe, is going to be the kidneys. So you're going to have the bladder and then you're going to have the kidneys after that. The time you're supposed to have the most energy is when you have the least energy. Because the drop off was so severe throughout the entire day. So imagine how your mood is going to be. You may wake up just all happy, go everything, shaking hands. If you're a CEO, you got a meeting today, a business meeting, you got to have the energy charged up for everybody and your team. Okay, sure, I understand that, but it's not natural though. So how can it be sustainable? It's not. Say you have, say you're an athlete, and you're trying to get up, to charge yourself up. You got practice, you got class. If you're a college athlete, if you're a professional athlete, same thing. You got to get up early in the morning, you got to go work out, whatever you got to go do. And they put caffeine in everything. Like I said, my protein shakes had caffeine inside. So the entire time that you're sitting there trying to go to a natural order, a natural clock, your mood started off from happy, and you got this nice little smile, to all of a sudden give it 6-7 hours later, you have that crashing experience. You are crashed and you are sad. It's all because of the caffeine. The caffeine is actually a drug. So if nobody's told you that Starbucks is causing you to have a bad day, They tell you, we'll put filtered water and mixed with the coffee, have all these extravagant, elaborate names for whatever thing that you're gonna go purchase. And you're like, okay, yeah, this is great. This latte for this is gonna be perfect for me to do this thing today. No, please, guys, you gotta understand that when you take in a diuretic, it's basically there to filter out everything inside of your body. And your small intestine, which is the 1 to 3 p.m., your small intestine, which is when you're supposed to start the process of hydration again, rehydrating your body, so drinking more water at this point in time. After you take in lunch, whatever food that you eat, all of a sudden you start to work where the water begins to rehydrate you and also pass everything outside of you. At this moment, and some people re-up and they drink more coffee at noon, or they drink more coffee at 11 a.m., or they take in another cup, and they say, well, I need to have more. And the entire time that you're going through the process, you're lowering your energy level. You're dropping the storage of ATP, because adenosine triphosphate is what you need to actually make it through your day. And you're supposed to be getting that from your own stores, your own storages, that all of a sudden it's ruining how you feel. It's directly affecting how you feel, how you're perceiving everything on the outside, how you're going through the process throughout your entire day, how you're interacting with people. I'm not talking about the fake salesman smile, the car salesman smile. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about your actual sound frequency and vibration is low. We go to subtle energy here. Subtle energy. The one that you don't want to talk about. The one that you don't want to fix. Because you think that you can cover it up on the outside, because you're living from the outside instead of living from the inside. That's what we're talking about here. So when your mood all of a sudden goes from happy to sad to crash, it's because of dehydration. And where did you dehydrate yourself? You dehydrated yourself because of the caffeine. That's why you got dehydrated. You took in this drug known as the caffeine, and all of a sudden your mood went from happy to sad because you put in artificial energy that can't not sustain itself. So that's the first effect of caffeine. The second effect, we'll talk directly about energy. Let's talk about energy. Let's talk about it. When you get up in the morning, like I just said, from 5 to 7 a.m., that's going to be the time for your large intestine, releasing your bowels. If you went through a process naturally, you should have been sleeping overnight, meaning lowering your brainwave from beta to alpha to theta to delta. If you didn't do this properly, you never actually got REM sleep. You never actually got replenishment in terms of your energy storage, because you never got to the place where your mind can turn off, because it couldn't shut itself off, because you stimulated it with something artificial to turn it on in the first place. It's like saying there's a natural time for you to run your shower. Maybe, like 1 o'clock or something, right? But you decided, I have to take this to turn the switch on whenever I want to turn the switch on. That's what caffeine does. You feel like you have to control this, but you can't. You're supposed to do it with the alignment of the actual sun and the actual moon. When the sun comes out, when the sun's at its highest point, you should be eating. So 12 p.m. to 12 noon to 6 to 7 p.m., no later than 7 p.m., you should be eating. And that, don't touch anything else. Why? Because you should be done with your system of digestion after that time. You should be complete. Now, all of a sudden, you go into, it's like when you go into a commercial laundromat and you put your clothes inside of the washing machine. And once you close that thing and turn it on, you can't reopen it no more. That's what you're supposed to do whenever you have a process of circadian rhythm and you're eating with that rhythm. The issue that people have is that they're gonna go into the process and they're gonna not understand cues anymore. So you're gonna eat thinking that you have to eat for energy, but you don't need to eat for energy. You need to drink for energy. You need to, instead of being hungry, you're thirsty because of this system of dehydration. Because when you're taking too much caffeine, again, it's overworking the kidneys now. So now, and people don't need to understand that the kidneys is literally a direct effect of the majority of autoimmune disease that comes in. It's going to be an adrenal, an endocrine system, and kidneys. So when you have this taxing agent right here, which is caffeine, which is that cup of coffee that you decided to go to the drive-thru to go get because you feel like you needed to have it in order to pick you up, that's what's going to happen to you. And then you won't be able to burn any fat because, again, fat stores toxin. So fat stores toxins. Fat stores toxins. So when you first wake up in the morning, if you're overweight and you're attempting to lose weight, the first thing that you should do is increase your ionized electrically charged water content instead of going to go grab a glass or a cup of coffee or orange juice or tea. Because if you're gonna go get these things are gonna take away the senses. You're not even gonna know or understand how you really feel on the inside because you're masking it. It's like an agent that masks itself because, again, you're saying release the energy right now, but it's not done yet. You're going out to take out your clothes in the washing machine, but the cycle's not done yet. It wasn't completed. And you decided, no, I gotta have that shirt right now. No, you don't. Okay, go take this, go to laundromat right now. Go put your laundry aside and go throw a whole boatload of clothes inside of there and then say, yeah, I gotta get this jacket though, because I gotta wear it like right now. And go stop the spin cycle, it ain't even dry yet. And just take it and shake it out and go put it on and go walk around. You ain't gonna do that. You're gonna wait till that thing gets done, dry it after that, and then you're gonna say, okay, yeah, it smells good, everything is good, it's ironed up, it's cool. If you don't wait, if you don't take the time to actually wait and do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, meaning, again, match up to the circadian rhythms, the natural process, then your energy is going to be depleted in an instant. No energy. You're gonna have no energy, none. Because the entire time you've been going against the circadian rhythm. Most people who drink coffee stay up too late. You can't go to bed at 9 o'clock? No. You can't go to bed at 8 o'clock? Hell no. Because you gotta be working. You gotta be overworking. You gotta be doing something. And you know why you're doing that? You know why you're overworking yourself? It's because you're not doing something or saying something or you're skipping out on something. Something that you're supposed to be doing. But you're too afraid to get up to go do that thing. You're a coward on your own mind, in your own heart. And you don't want to face what you're supposed to face. You know why? Because if you face it, something gets taken away from you. And you're too afraid to see what's on the opposite side. So God can come into your mind and tell you what you're supposed to do. Tell you what you're supposed to say. How you're supposed to confront something. You're supposed to go to somebody and have a crucial conversation. But you're just too damn afraid. So the fear is literally masking you, causing you to go drink some coffee. Now you see yourself at a table and you're doing this, or you're tapping, or you're bouncing your leg, or you're shaking this, or you're looking around, and you're doing all this stuff because you feel lost on the inside. Literally, you're wired on the inside. You're just looking around and like, can they see me? Yeah, they can see you. You're part of everything. Of course we can see you. That's the whole point. So now you're looking at your energy and you're saying, well, what's wrong with my energy store? Why am I'm taking 5-hour energy. It tells you 5-hour energy. It didn't say 50-hour energy. It didn't say infinite energy. It said 5-hour energy. So you're going to get 5 hours. But after that 5 hours, that shit is done. It's over with. You ain't got nothing left on the inside. It's gonna be gone. So that coffee can say 6-hour coffee. And they can make something else up too. And tell you, oh, it's gonna last all day long. Okay, all right. Okay, I don't know if you want it all day long. Ain't you gotta go to bed? Well, maybe if sleep's that important to you, you gotta go to bed. But if sleep's not that important to you, you don't have to go to bed. That's how most people think. I'm just telling you how mind-blowing this is when you talk about caffeine, because Again, you're an addict. So some people say they can't live without it because they can't have any energy without that. So they're moved, they can't put a smile on their face unless they drink a cup of drug addict, basically drug addicted, 85 to 50 milligrams of some stimulant. It's a stimulant. So if you can't actually wake up on the right side of the bed naturally, you got a problem. You gotta go check that. And so this is where it says your energy stores that you're supposed to have, you don't have it. If you're overweight, okay, most of it comes from the inability to know hunger cue, from thirst cues. Most people are just thirsty. The majority of them who are overweight, all of them. I'll go and I'll reach and I'll say all of them, people who are overweight, are just thirsty. But they've eaten so much solute. Solute is the stuff. So let me put this right here. Solute. I'll just call it food stuff or drink stuff. Food stuff, drink stuff. This could be processed meat, dairy, eggs, sugar, cookies, bread, whatever else that you can put into your body that is going to get broken down into salt or into, again, solute. Then you have your solvent, which is your water. Now, what about your water is important in this case? At the Alkalign Lifestyle School, we teach you that you're living a plasma-filled universe, an electrical universe that's controlled and governed by plasma. Well, water is 92% of plasma. So all of this right here that I told you, that's floating around, when the leaves are blowing in the wind, it's not blowing in the wind, it's blowing in plasma. Yeah, it's blowing in plasma. So this is the connection right here. This all around you is the connection, but that connection is going through your body. And so how you're supposed to get energy is you're supposed to receive it, freely receive it, and allow it to come through you and process through you and express it outwardly on the screen of space. That's how the energy is supposed to work. But the caffeine that you're taking in is stopping you from this process. Again, because of the simple concept of dehydration. Who gets the water first inside of your body? Who gets the water first? Your brain. 18 to 20% of the water that comes in goes to your brain. It's held under the 5th vertebrae in your spine. It's held right here in this area. It's held in this solar plexus area. This water needs to be released. And it needs to be released and going all throughout your body's 12 systems. And it needs to feed it because you have to communicate at every moment. Your body knows what the other part of your body is doing. If it does not know that, it doesn't work. So that's why people who have energy problems with low energy, it's because they're receiving this crash because they picked themselves up when they shouldn't have. They turned on the faucet of energy when they shouldn't have. Now they have the wrong usage and the wrong stores being used. You want to lose weight, you're supposed to burn the fat, but you don't burn fat. You breathe it out. That's another misperception. No, you don't burn fat. If you go into a state of fasting yourself, what you do when you go into a fasting state is your body now turns into an actual mechanism that turns itself on, because fasting turns yourself on. You stop doing all these wasted processes because you're now moving with intentionality. And so fasting causes you to only put your focus on one thing. So your body's like, okay, hey, I need to get some energy. Why don't we use this trash bag over here that I stored in a bunch of toxins in? and I put it under your tricep, or I put it on a ring around your lower abdomen area, and it's just been collected. Let's get rid of this first. So at 6 a.m., go take a walk. Just go take a walk. Drink some water. Make those bowels pass and start to move. The collection of mitochondria inside your heart, inside your chest area. Activate that. When you activate all of these things, plus the organelle, it's not going to tell the cells, excrete that waste, get it out, remove it to the intestines. Now all of a sudden, lymphatic system's back online. Now you're back online because you're using the right energy. But if you try to go get artificial energy or create artificial energy, I'm telling you right now, your body don't recognize that. So all of a sudden, you're throwing a time clock that does not exist because it's blocking the natural clock that you're already working on. You're already working on and in unison with the natural body clock of the circadian rhythm because you are the actual earth. You're an earthling. Therefore, if the earth is doing this, you better be doing it in unison with the earth. So, lastly, let's really focus on obesity and why this becomes an issue in terms of weight. Now, we just picked up and we just talked about the energy. But what I'm expressing is, whenever somebody is obese, the issue is that they've attributed a pain and a pleasure principle to food. They've sat there and they've basically told themselves that it's more pleasurable for me to stuff my face all I can eat than for me to get up to go move my body and to go do some cardio or to drink some water. Let me tell you, go to a restaurant right now and see how many people are going to order that. Go to a happy hour right now. Go to any kind of restaurant and see how many people are going to order their favorite sugary beverage, favorite sugary drink. Or they're going to just sit there and say, I just need a glass of water, some charged up water. It's all great. See how many people are going to choose that. Most people will not choose that. Most people will sit there and say, I'd rather have the sugary drink, or I'd rather have the thing that I think is going to give me some pleasure, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep on packing on the pounds because you don't understand cues. You think that sugary drink has water inside of it, but that sugary drink is full of the solute that went into the solvent. The solvent can only be water by itself. So if you say water alone, and you say water alone hydrates, only water alone is what hydrates. So if the water alone is what's hydrating to you, you have to understand that whenever you eat the fruit, the H3O2 chains inside of it, the H3O2 chains actually go to hydrate the cells. When they hydrate the cells, you're saying, okay, the inside of the cell is taking in the water from the fruit. The outside of the cell has to be taking in the water that I'm drinking in. So you're going to be hydrating the environment around the cell and the actual cell itself. That's how you do it. But water alone is what hydrates. Because then the solute, where's the solute go? The solute goes in the plasma. Because the plasma is what's moving the nutrients, the minerals, the vitamins all throughout your entire bloodstream. That's what blood plasma does. It basically takes it where it needs to go. So it's going to take the magnesium and things to your heart. It's going to take whatever you need in terms of copper and to your brain or zinc to your genitals. It's going to carry whatever your organs need. It has to know this because it's on a line. It's on basically it's on a communication line, and everyone knows what everyone needs. That's how your body works. So if something's blocking it, what's blocking it? Whatever you're putting in. So if someone is obese, it's mainly because they do not understand their own hunger, fullness cues. They've lost the ability to understand leptin and ghrelin, to release it properly. They've lost the ability to deem what's useful or not useful. They've basically lost the ability to do that. And so what happens is they go the entire time thinking that at 6 o'clock in the morning, they got to eat bacon, eggs, and a piece of toast bread because they got to get some protein. But all protein is branched chain amino acids. All non-essential branched chain amino acids. You can get that from plants because that's where everybody else gets it. They get it from plants. Now, plants are made up of what? Light and vibration. That's what plants and animals are mostly made of, light and vibration. Water holds resonance. So when you have resonance and when you have frequency, that's what the water can compile the most of. Now, that's not saying it's limited to just that, but the majority of that, that's where it comes from. And you have to look at yourself and say, I'm a light being. I'm focused on resonance. I'm an energetic being. So me being an energetic being, me being a person that is connected to the light at every moment in time, point in space. I have to look at myself and say, am I following the cues? If you have something that's blocking, that's masking the cues, because the caffeine is diminishing the amount of solvent, the amount of water, which is the amount of the medium, the telephone, as I said, to the universe. If it's actually stopping that, if it's stopping that from coming in, if it's stopping if it's blocking, let's say that, if it's masking that from coming in, the connectivity to it, all of a sudden, your body gets confused. And then you start overeating. And you don't even know why, or you don't even know when. Like I said, you should be eating from 12 p.m. and I'm really gonna say, I'll say 6:30 p.m. Some people write it at 6 o'clock, but in between that time, because at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., it's called the pericardium, which is basically gonna be the wrap around your heart. This is when you're gonna start to have your downtime. So cut it off half an hour prior to that time. And that's where you're gonna have your self-care time, your journaling time, your meditation time, having sex with your partner, just having your intimacy time. That's gonna be that time. This is the time from about 12 p.m., eat. Eat from 12 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. That's the time when you eat. Eat, drink water. Eat, drink water. The most ideal thing for you to eat when you first get up in the morning. First thing that you do is drink some water. So breakfast. So let's talk about breakfast. What should you eat then whenever you first get up in the morning? If you're overweight, you're looking to lose weight. You shouldn't eat anything. Don't eat anything. If you're gonna go work out, great. Work out fasted. Work out with nothing inside of your body except some water. And let your body eat up the fat stores that you already have on the inside. It's gonna use them, it's gonna burn it all up because you're gonna be breathing it out. So it's not actually set on fire, you're breathing. And as you continue to breathe through the diaphragm, all of a sudden, it starts to convert. It starts to convert this fat into, as you have CO2 and carbon dioxide, and you begin to breathe it out. That's what happens. So if you can do a fasted cardio routine or a fasted training routine and keep it very simple when you train yourself. Keep it very, very simple. And don't go to GNC and think that you got to go get a supplementation or go take a protein shake. Protein comes from poop. That's essentially where protein comes from. Protein shakes come from poop. It's like powdered poop. Basically excess that comes from the animal factory and things like that. That's where they get that stuff from. It's excess. It's just garbage that they're refusing to throw away. So they package it up inside of a bucket and call it protein shake. And they say, here, you can take this. Your body's made up of protein. Your DNA is made of protein. You're already protein, but you're not using the protein that you already have in an efficient manner. You're just pouring more and more on top of a bucket that's already full. So what you should do, again, when you first get up in the morning, is drink some water. You want to put some lemon inside of it, maybe a cucumber, something to charge your water up, go for it. Lime, but make sure it's some water, 100% some water. You can warm it up a little bit. Make sure that it gets into the large intestine and you relax yourself. So meditation also hydrates you. When you meditate, you also hydrate. So just by you calming yourself down and sitting still, you're allowing your cells to become a sponge. Cells are like sponges. You can't just go in there and say, I'm dehydrated, and start pouring a bunch of water down your throat and being like, oh, okay, hey, I'm gonna fix it. By that time, it's already too late. So if your lips are chapped, if you have a dry mouth, it's already too late. You'll start having these convulsions and these cramps, but it's already too late. You gotta stop the process now. So what you should do is meditate. Instantly stop what you're doing, go close your eyes, take some sound frequency, just go find a quiet spot amongst yourself. Start talking to yourself, pay some affirmations, repeat some affirmations, but just close your eyes and be still. Once you can do that, meditating instantly rehydrates your body. Instantly rehydrates your body. Now, once you can see yourself in a different place and envision yourself in a different place, you attach different association to food. Because what you're thinking of is that this caffeine basically had you thinking that you were hungry when you weren't hungry. It had you up at 11 p.m. and wired at midnight, where you should have been knocked out sound asleep. That's when the chaos starts. The chaos starts with the clock. So really, the word of the day, this is how we're gonna finish it up. The word of the day. Aside from caffeine, how do you solve the issue of caffeine? You solve the issue by following the circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms. So when you follow the circadian rhythm, if you're understanding that just by you following this actual process from 11 p.m. to, I'll say 9 a.m. Excuse me. Because that's going to be 7 to 9 a.m. is going to be the stomach. So 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. is fully detoxification. All right? Because then from 11 to 1 is going to be your heart. So from 12 to, again, we put 6:30 p.m. food consumption, meaning you eat. This ruins, so caffeine ruins your natural body clock. That's why this is so detrimental to your health. It ruins your natural body clock. And you need to be following the circadian rhythms, 11 p.m. to 9 a.m., sleep, walk, meditate, and hydrate. And then from 12 to 6:30 p.m. food consumption, hydrate. Most important beverage that you're gonna drink is water. Avoid alcohol at all costs, because when you start to see that these things take you away from feeling yourself. You're never gonna know that this storage is full because you're masking it. Your stomach from 9 a.m. from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., it's already telling you, I'm already full. It's getting the waste products to go from whatever you've consumed, whether it be overnight. And again, let me tell you one more thing. For all you late night snack people, your body is supposed to be in detoxification mode overnight, as I just put. If you go eat at midnight, you stop the process of detoxification, and all of a sudden your body has to do some work when it's supposed to be sleep. So again, all autoimmune disease is caused by a misalignment with the earth. You're misaligning yourself with the earth, and you're doing it intentionally. So for all you people who want to stay up, you're only staying up, you're only taking this caffeine because you're not doing something. You're not saying something. You're running from something. Hey man, you gotta stop running. I'm just telling you, you gotta stop running. One day you gotta stand up for yourself, to yourself. Stand up for yourself, to yourself. Say what you need to say. Because if you don't ever say what you need to say, what you need to get out, what you need to express, regardless of how somebody feels about it. If you don't ever stand up for yourself, to yourself, you have a problem. You're never gonna feel fulfilled, ever in your lifetime. So all I'm expressing to whomever is watching this video is that you've got to focus on avoiding the caffeine at all costs. If it's coming in tea, if it's coming in coffee, if it's coming in soda, if it's coming in a protein shake, if it's coming in a supplementation. When you go to the gym, you see these huge wired gentlemen. They're wired. They got all the steroid use and all kind of caffeine this and everything that they putting in, and they got the little red line and all these things that are helping them in the gym. You got the pre-workout. Pre-workout is just a bunch of caffeine, and they go into the gym and they're just gonna pick up all this stuff and everything, and then you're gonna wreck your entire body. I'm just telling you from experience. I've already done it. I used to be 210 pounds. Now I dropped 20 after I got back in alignment with the earth's natural rhythms. Did I lose any of my muscle mass? Nah, I can still pick up any and everything. And I just look leaner, and I just look greater. And I actually have real muscle. I'm not inflamed. I'm not like a little blowfish walking around, puffy, thinking that I'm huge and heavy. You don't know that the bodybuilders, most of them have cardiovascular issues, and that's why you see that they're out of breath all the time. They have their hearts overworking, their livers overworking. Why is their heart overworking? Their heart's overworking because it's attempting to pump it, it's attempting to, because your heart is a valve. So the plasma is passing through those 4 openings, but their lungs are the pump. So they sound like they're out of breath the entire time. These huge gentlemen sound like they're out of breath the entire time because their heart is working so hard. Their heart's beating so rapid, it's racing. It is racing because it's attempting to keep up, to keep that blood plasma passing through those 4 valves, and they can't keep up with the pump, which is their lungs. So something's misfiring. So all of a sudden, this is gonna start to misfire, which is gonna be the heart. The rhythm's gonna start to misfire. So you see people who are overweight, they're usually out of breath. They're usually out of breath. They can't walk up down the steps. They can't do cardiovascular exercise for a long time. But that's the more reason why they should be doing more of it and doing less eating. But that's a psychological thing that they have an association with. So you do not need caffeine to get started in your day. It ain't but first coffee. No, leave that alone. But how about we say but first water? But first, a glass of water. But first, meditate. But first, get into your own mind. If you can focus on that, when you can focus on that, not if, but when you can focus on that, you're gonna go towards infinite health. When you go towards infinite health, all of a sudden you get back into a relaxed state. All of a sudden you get back into the ways of how the world and how the universe actually works. But you have to do it that way. You can't do it the other way. So I know what social media is telling you. I know what, I see how it's working, and I see how people are, they're taking pictures everywhere that they go, and they get a cup of something from here or a cup of something from there, and they're taking a snapshot, and everybody has to be promoting something. And no, you don't want to have that anymore. You have to live from the inside out, not from the outside in. Because if you keep living from the inside out, what happens to you is you begin to create harmony and resonance within yourself, and then balance and homeostasis. Living from the outside in, you're gonna be reactionary at every moment of time, point, and space. And that's what caffeine does to you. It makes you reactionary. So everybody that you see that's living in a reactionary lifestyle, that's attempting to appear bigger, but their vibration is smaller, they're not connecting this aura and their energetic field with how they really are on the inside. And that coffee is a distortion. And that coffee is ruining not only the natural body clock, but it's ruining their mood, it's lowering their energy, and it's causing them to overeat and expand themselves and become obese. If this video helped anybody, it helped you, or you know somebody it can help, like, share, subscribe to my channel, and until next time.